guys, welcome back. This week's Wedding Wednesday video is going to be a makeup tutorial. This is bridal tutorial number 2. The first one that I did was a darker lip with a neutral eye. Today I went with a more neutral lip and a bold eye. So let's get started. I've already applied my moisturizer and my eye cream. Now I'm just going to go ahead and prime my face before we move on to the eyes. First I'm using the Benefit PoreFessional, and I'm only going to use that around my cheeks and my nose where I feel like I have the largest pores. And then for the rest of my face, I'm going to use this Korres primer. It's the Anti-Aging Wrinkle Smoothing Primer. I just really like the way it makes my skin feel, and I think it's smoothing to the point where my makeup would go on better. In my last tutorial, Wedding Wednesday, I used the YSL Blurring Primer. So I'm just trying to basically use nothing. None of the products are the same in this tutorial. So just giving you some different options. I'm also switching up the foundation, which brand of eyeshadows I use, the eyeshadow look, everything. I think only a couple of products, like my lash glue and my mascara, are going to be the same. Now I do want to use one primer. Okay, I already used 2 primers. I know that's like high maintenance, but I did want to use just a hair of the Hourglass Veil Primer. The Hourglass Mineral Primer, the Veil, it has SPF 15, so I can't go crazy with it because I don't want it to flash back in photos. But I am going to use just a little bit in the places that I wouldn't mind that were a little bit lighter in photos, because I love the radiant finish this primer gives, but it is SPF 15, like I said, so you don't want it everywhere. And I literally took like a drop, not much at all, so don't think I'm ODing on primer here. Okay, so for my eyes, I am going to use my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I just really like that. I have like 5 other eye primers, but I always go back to my MAC Paint Pot. And I'm using a Jessup Kabuki. It's like a smaller Kabuki, and I'm using that to prime my eyes with. To set that, I'm using Milk Tea by Makeup Forever. This is M536. It's just like a really skin-colored kind of color. And I'm just using any old fluffy eyeshadow brush will do, just to set that color in place. It's a little bit darker than I remember, so I'm going to go into Vanilla, which is just a hair lighter, and that one is M510. Just mix those two together since this one was a little dark. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead real quick and fill in my eyebrows. I really liked these 2 products. So I'm definitely going to use my Clear Brow Gel by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I was going to use my Dip Brow Pomade because it has the longest lasting power. It will definitely last through a 12-hour day. But I really don't like the harshness it gives me. So I think I'm going to use a couple of NYX products for my brows. First I'm using the NYX Tame Frame. This is actually in blonde, which clearly I'm not a blonde, but I really like the way that it fills in the blank spots but doesn't look harsh. And then on top of it, I'm going to go over it with the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara. Tinted Brow Mascara is in Brunette, so that is a little darker. It's using a small angled brush and going very small short strokes to mimic the brow hairs that are naturally there. I like this product because I can take it on the inner corner of my eyebrows and it doesn't look too harsh. So do you see how that just lightened my brows just a tiny bit? That's okay because, like I said, I'm going to go over it with the Tinted Brow Mascara that's in a darker shade. One thing I like about doing my brows before foundation is that I can be messy with the products and I can clean it up later. Usually I end up doing my brows as one of the last steps, and then if I'm messy, I can't clean it up, or it's harder to clean it up, you know. I just went in with a clean spoolie to kind of clean that up just a little bit. I'm going in with a Clear Brow Gel just to set those in place even more. I'm going to apply a lip balm really quickly. This is my EOS lip balm. For eyes, I'm going to use a mix of my Makeup Forever Artist Eyeshadows and some MAC shadows. And the goal is to create something that's warm, a lot of warmer browns, and really smoky, more dramatic, because the lip is going to be kind of neutral and natural, basically like a My Natural lip color. So the first color I'm going to go into is M660 Speculous, and it's a warm brown. And I'm using an IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe All Over Eyeshadow Brush in number 5. And that is going in the crease and slightly above. So that's just creating a lot of warmth and some depth. I think that's too warm. I don't really like that. So I'm going to go into M536 Milk Tea again. And that's going to go slightly above that warmth. Almost to the brow. For under the brow, I'm using M126 Chalk. It is a matte white color. And I'm concentrating on putting this mostly at the peak of the brow and outwards. I am going to take it over here in the inner corner, but not quite as much. This is kind of a harsher white color. So once I apply it, I kind of take my finger and blend it out just a little. That creates a little bit of height in the brow and makes your eye look more open and lifted. And it also, you know, makes you look younger. I'm going to take that color on the inner corner of the eye also, and a little bit here on the lower lash line. I am going to lay down more of a shimmery color there in a few minutes, but this will just help brighten things even more. And this is the other end of that IT Cosmetics brush, the number 5 smudge brush. For the lid, I'm laying down ME512 Golden Beige. And I'm applying that with a flat eyeshadow brush. It's basically a golden shade. I'm going to go ahead and take that into the inner corner as well. So now we have a good base for the eyeshadow look, but I need some depth. I need some smokiness. So I'm going to really bring out that outer V. For the outer V, I'm using M822 Plum. This is one of my favorite Make It Forever eyeshadows. And I'm also going to go into M738 Auburn. So Auburn and Plum. And I really like these two to create some warmth and depth. So I'm going to place those on a flat eyeshadow brush and plant it here on the outer eye. And just kind of stamp it. And I've gotten some fallout under my eyes, so I'm really glad that I did my eyes first. This is just Plum. I have not gone into Auburn at all. I think Plum is plenty warm. So if you didn't know, our wedding is 1920s themed. And so I am wearing a 1920s looking hairstyle. I have a whole video on that, and I have a video on my dress and the jewelry and everything. So you can kind of, you can't see them all together, but you can envision it. Okay, so that's messy, but you get the gist. So I'm going to go back into that brush that has milk tea on it, the one that I blended with, and I'm going to go back into that and blend this just a little bit on the edges. Then I'm going into M618 Espresso. This is a super, super dark brown, almost black. Just a little bit, and I'm going to apply it right there on the outer corner. I'm taking my e.l.f. crease brush. This has no product on it, and I am just blending. Going back into Espresso again. Stamping it down. And blending. And then I'm going into the clean brush that has no additional product and blending the edges. Now I'm going to be able to clean up the outer edges, so don't worry about those because I'm going to still do my concealer. So I'll be able to just go and make that really nice clean edge. But you can see so far it's just very warm and it has a lot of depth at the outer eye. I'm going to go back into the gold shade for the lid and revive that a little bit. I'm going to go back into Plum and revive that. Now I'm going to do just wipe my brush off really quickly, and I'm going to go into Auburn, but just a tap. It's basically like orange, so I don't want too much of that in the look. And now we blend. Then I'm going into Makeup Geek's Mocha, because I just feel like it's a little too, it's like orange and then black, and there's no in between. So I'm going to apply Mocha here in the outer V and a little bit in the crease. Okay, touching up the lid shade again. Alright, so I'm going to leave the eye look at this for now. I'm just going to apply some liner. Today I'm using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper. And I'm going to apply a pretty decent line. Not necessarily a wing, but a thicker line. So I'm going to be wearing some false lashes that have a thicker band. Okay, so now I have a pretty decent thick line. I did carry it all the way into the inner corner kind of thick because my lash band is very thick. I find these Lotus Lashes pretty hard to work with, but they are beautiful once they're on right. These are the 105s. They're like a medium thickness, but definitely more full than my Ardell Demi Wispies. So I'm going to try these this time. But my eye look is very warm, so I'm still not 100% sure how much I like it. But on the top lashes, I'm going to apply the Bobbi Brown No Smudge Mascara. Alright, that is done for now. And now we're going to work on the face. I'm going to take a makeup removing wipe and kind of clean up the under eye area. Okay, so you can tell, I mean, cleaning it up with a makeup wipe is kind of essential on your wedding day. You don't want to have brown shadow underneath your eye. Okay, so now I'm applying the Bobbi Brown Corrector in Peach. This is essential for me to cover up my dark circles. I'm going to go ahead and apply it right here, and you'll see, and then compare it to the other eye. See the difference? My under eyes are no foundation. I already look more awake. So that's something that I would say is an essential for me. I love that stuff. Alright, now for foundations. You know I'm a foundation concoction girl. I always have been. And so why would my wedding day be any different? But today I'm taking the CoverFX Natural Foundation. That's the kind of the newer one that Jaclyn Hill was raving about. It's got a very dewy finish. I have it in the shade N40, which may be a little bit too dark for me right now. But I'm going to mix it with the CoverFX Custom Cover Drops in N30. Both are little sample cups, and see how I like that. And I'm going to take a little pump of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This is in the shade 4.25. And I'm going to mix that along with the other stuff. This one to me doesn't have enough coverage, and the shade that I have is a little bit too neutral, like too pinky for me. I'm a little bit more warm. But I love the finish, so I figure I'll mix all three. And then last tutorial I did for Bridal, I did it with a foundation brush. Today I'm going to be using my Beauty Blender. And I am just pouncing. I'm being really careful around the outer eye area to make sure that I don't mess up that line. That nice crisp line that I've created. And I am also taking this foundation on my ears. And my wedding dress is like off the shoulders, so I will be definitely taking my foundation down my chest that day. And when I think I'm all done blending out my foundation, I take it again and go all the way around one more time just to make sure everything is nice and pressed into the skin. Remove any of the excess. I kind of like the finish. It's a little bit dewy, but not extremely dewy. So I'm going to be doing two different concealers. I'm going to start with the Naked Skin Concealer by Urban Decay. This is in medium light neutral, one of my favorites. And this is basically my skin shade. This color is not brightening at all. And I'm going to go in with my Beauty Blender and pounce that out. And I'm taking just a little bit of this concealer that's on the brush, the sponge, and I'm just pressing it on my three little spots that I have right here. A little bit of extra coverage. And then when I think I'm all done, I continue. I do one more lap around just to remove any of the excess product. Then, after I use that concealer, I'm going to go into the Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Concealer in Sand. Right now I have a deluxe sample. I'm trying it out. I'm just putting a little bit underneath the eyes. I don't want to go too much. And I'm just trying to see if I like it. It is a slightly lighter shade, so it's going to brighten. Right away I'm going into my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in Light Plus, and I'm using my e.l.f. Small tapered brush to set that under eye concealer right away. I don't want to use a translucent powder that might flash back in photos. And per Wayne Goss, this powder actually does a really good job of not creasing and setting the under eye concealer without flashing back in photos. That's why I'm choosing to use it. Just tapping out that concealer. Make sure it is set in place. Okay, so we have a really good base for this. I'm not sure I'm loving my brows. I'll have to play with those a little bit. This is not my favorite brow look that I've ever done. But I'm going to go ahead and apply my false lashes right now, and then we'll come back and do the cheeks. Alright, so as I said, these are some bigger lashes. I'm just not sure I'm loving them. I really don't like this part right here. I have trimmed them quite a bit, so it's not because they're too long. Yeah, these are definitely dramatic. I don't think I'm ready for this on my wedding day. I don't think I want to go there. But let's go ahead and do the lower lash line. I wanted to use something that was going to be waterproof for my lower lash line. I'm using the Cargo Swimmables. This is Pebble Beach. It's just a brown liner. So this pencil is super soft. You don't want to use much. A very light touch. And I'm only taking this about halfway in on that lower lash line. And connecting it here with the outer lash line. The upper lash line. Then I'm going to go in with a smudger brush. This is the Jessup Short Shader brush, but it's just like a small stiff brush. And I'm going to go into Makeup Geek's Creme Brulee. And Creme Brulee is just like a tan color, a little darker than my skin. And I am smudging out that lower lash line. So now I'm going to apply that Bobbi Brown No Smudge Mascara to the lower lashes as well. Not too much, just enough to be able to see that I have lashes down there. So the eyes are finished. Now you can see my cheeks look extremely bare. So for that, I'm going to be using, of course, my Benefit Hoola Bronzer. You know, I have different shaping powders, but this is just my favorite. I feel like this one consistently blends well. It's warm enough, but it's not too warm. It's cool enough, but not too cool. So I love the shape of the brush. Going in with that product all the way around the forehead, just a bit. Then I'm taking that same brush right down the sides of the nose, not much. Taking a little bit right beneath the lower lip. And on the jaw. I'm taking my Smashbox Halo powder. This is the hydrating powder. This is in Fair Light on the brush I used to set my under eye concealer. And I'm using that powder to clean up the contour line there. This powder is just a little bit light for me, which means in the winter it'll probably be the perfect shade, but right now I'm just using that to, so you see how it like cut out the contour line a little bit? Alright, so now for blush. I've decided to do two blushes as a combination, of course. This is the Balm In Stain blush, and the shade is Houndstooth. And these blushes last forever on your skin, so that's why I chose it. I'm using the e.l.f. Mineral Powder Brush, and you have to be very careful. So I'm getting a good amount on the brush, brushing it off onto my hand, and then applying it to the cheeks. And then on top of it, this is a matte finish. On top of it, I'm going to go in with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes. Now I'm going to go on top of that with the Luminous Flush Blush from the Hourglass Ambient Lighting trio. And the Luminous Flush Blush just has a beautiful sheen, so that's why I'm using it. But again, it is very powerful, so I'm taking very little on the brush and then blending it out. And then I'm even taking a clean brush and trying to soften that again because it is very intensely pink right now. Going in with a Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed. This is in Opal. I'm going to use that as my highlighter today. I'm using the e.l.f. Small Tapered Brush to put that right where the center of the eye is and out in a C shape. And then on the tip of the nose, a little bit in between the brows, right on the Cupid's bow. tiniest bit on the chin. And then I'm taking my clean brush and just trying to blend the harshness of that away. I want the highlight to be seen, but not, you know, in your face. I'm taking the MAC pigment in Vanilla, and I'm going to use that with a smudger brush right underneath the brow bone and on the inner corner of the eye. I wanted just a little bit more highlight there. For the lips, I'm applying this Jordana Easy Liner for lips, and this is in the shade Pink Love, and it's just a soft pink. I'm taking this Milani Color Statement lipstick, and this is in Plum Rose. I'm going to pop on the center of the lip a NYX Butter Gloss. This is in Eclair, just on the center of the lower lip for some brightness. Alright, so this is my bridal look. I'm just going to set it with some of the Smashbox primer water. And then the last step I would do is the Smashbox powder all over my face. But I don't actually need it day to day just because I have dry skin, so I'm not doing that step today. But then I would set it with a setting spray at the end. But I skipped the powder because I don't need it. So this is my take 2 at the bridal makeup. Let me know if you guys like the more dramatic eye, the more dramatic lip, and let me know what you guys want to see next week for Wedding Wednesday and the Wedding Wednesdays in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.